Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's see if we can just build us one nasty 2171. That is the goal. This may end up being a video series. It may all be crammed into one video, but we'll start off and I'll show you what I've got to work with. Ain't she a beauty, Clark? Actually, it was a pretty decent looking saw before I tore it down, but I saved you guys the boringness of that. If you need to know how to tear one down, just search my channel. Lots and lots of chainsaw tear down videos on there, which is probably what I should have made, because hey, they pay us more for those for some reason, and I'll promise you it's nothing that you're going to pay your bills with, or yeah, we'll leave it at that, or even support this very costly hobby. Oh, and there's been half a dozen people, or a dozen or 2 dozen, back out of the video right here when they seen those farmer tip boxes. Should have went OEM. Chinese garbage. Yeah, you're probably right, but if I used OEM on everything I built here on the channel, would never ever get anything done or ever build anything, and we'll just leave it at that. What we have here, I've been able to get a lot of these things to really run good over the years. Got a farmer tip, 52mm big bore top end. It's one of the cylinders that I don't like, so let's just hope it times out close enough to where we can do some machine work and make it work. They've got a couple different cylinders, or I guess manufacturers they use that make their cylinders. Farmer Tech itself does make some stuff, but most of it's sourced out to my understanding, but it just is what it is. We'll just leave it at that, I guess, but we'll see if I can come in and give you guys a look at this cylinder. Ain't half bad looking. I've seen a lot worse. It does look like we can do some machine work up there though. Seen a lot worse. Watch the video on the Farmer Tech 038 MS380 I built. That one still gets a lot of traffic. It's kind of comical how the exhaust port was laid in that cylinder, and you know what? Still able to make it run decent, but I ended up putting a different cylinder on that one later on down the road. But that saw has since been long gone. I didn't really show the piston much, as I don't really know if I'm going to use it. I just have to see. We're going to take a little more lightweight of an approach here, and honestly something I've never done yet. What we have in here, I ain't even 100% sure. I unboxed this piston in the unboxing video of all the parts when I ordered them. I done an unboxing on the parts, I remember that, but you guys don't know what that is. Boy, she got some sharp edges, but she does look pretty good. We'll take care of those sharp edges, but we have a 272 XP 52mm piston, which should be just a little taller than the 372, but that's not the reason I got it. I got it for it being lightweight, but the only thing that kind of scares me with it is it's an open windowed piston. We have case fed transfers, and I've seen a lot of people build these things with this piston, but I've not done it yet because of it being the open windowed piston, and I'm just kind of afraid we're going to lose case compression. And to rev high and make power up high, guys, you need that case compression. It has to be there. Numbers people go by on a work saw generally, typically, you know, you're going to want somewhere around 40 degrees of case compression. I've done them with a lot more than that. I've done them with as low as 30 degrees of case compression, and they still ran all right. It's all dependent on the transfer layout, how big the crankcase is, cylinder diameter. There's a lot more goes into it than just throwing one number out at something, but again, I'm wanting really nasty work saw is what I'm going for. Taking a risk of, you know, this $2 piston grenading and killing the whole build, but if it does, we'll fix it. It's not that big of a deal, but wanting to have some fun here with this. The first issue we're going to run into here is, there's TDC, which I knew it was going to do that, but it's really not as bad as I would have thought. I've not measured to see the difference between the tops of those pistons, but I think it's generally around 60 thousandths to my understanding. But I guess that's the next thing we'll do. We'll pull that back off and have a look at the squish band, have a look at the two pistons, and we'll go from there. Hopefully you can see there's like a step that goes all the way around the squish band. You see that a lot on aftermarket stuff and some OEM stuff. I don't know what the culprit of it is, but it's like they don't want you to make horsepower with stuff without working for it. So I'm guessing the first thing I need to do is come up the mandrel and cut that out and then see where we're at. Okay, there's that ring now that I've taken some away just to show you. Maybe it wasn't sticking out before, but it's sticking out there like a sore thumb now, just to give you an idea of what we're taking away. Guys, I've checked squish on 3 corners. I'll try to get this bent around and come in and check the back side as close as I can. That's a little overkill if it's the same. On each side above the grist pin, you're probably good, but I'm getting dead on 22 thousandths all around. I will say that you have to do a lot to take up a lot of clearance to do this, and again we got 22 thousandths dead on it. We'll just pull this right back off. So we won't be cutting the base on this at all. If you ain't got a lathe, you're probably going to need a stack of gaskets. There's some really thick gasket material. That would about be the only way I think you could use that piston. And if you ain't got a lathe, I don't know that I would even recommend it. But saying it could be done, I guess. You can take an old piston, some coarse sandpaper, take your time. You can cut the material out of the band, but like I said, I cut about as much out of this one as I felt I could safely cut out. As you can see, I've got about a 25 thou pop up cut into that piston. It's about all I like to cut into them. I don't like removing a whole lot of material from the crown. We probably still got probably over 80 thousandths there, if not 100 easily. And hopefully we're getting a good look in there to squish bend. Said I took that whole step out and then probably 20 thousandths more, so probably looking at over 40 thousandths out of the bend. An OEM cylinder, you can go further than that. I've got 365 cylinders I've took close to 70 thou out of. Now that's pushing it, but you know, this thing was dirt cheap on a farmer tech order, so working with what we've got, you know, they are some aftermarket cylinders you can't even do any machine work to, but I will tell you the plating on this thing is very hard. That's probably a good thing as far as longevity of the saw, but makes it real fun getting the plating off of the squish band. Alright guys, pulled the port map on this, so I think I'd shown the 22 thousandths squish. Actually, I think took a snapshot of that. I've got that on all 4 corners of the cylinder, which means my machining was spot on. That's what you want. You want it all flat and straight. Which all we done was cut the band and cut a pop up in that piston. Nothing done to the base. I'll probably scuff it up with some sandpaper or something just to give our glue something to bite to. But exhaust 106, actually like teetering 105.9, 106. We call it 106, 132 on the uppers, and 83 on the intake. And I'm pretty sure it's due to the skirt of that 272 piston being a little shorter. Timing doesn't scare me at all. Seems this design of cylinder is a lot less forgiving as far as tunability and how the saw acts on the cut. A lot of the older designs with the pocket style transfers, they ain't real happy as far as a work saw. They're like a saw you can just hand to anyone to cut wood with that much intake timing, but I found these, it'll be okay. Not worried about that at all, and it'll help us with some in the upper RPMs as well. So guys, got the port work finished on it. Exhaust port looking real nice. Raised, widened, cleaned up, polished. Look at the uppers. Here is where I spent a lot of time. This cylinder was rough. It ported pretty good, but it was rough starting out. And the lowers, the only thing I done, I went in and cleaned up some of the roughness in there and textured them when we lowered this bridge down even with the base. Intake port, I didn't get a look at the shape on that. Focus camera. Didn't do a lot with it. Didn't even widen it due to the timing being so far out there to begin with. I didn't really want to epoxy it up, but again, look at the squish band. That's where most of the machine work was at. I did clean up the base. I just give the glue something to grab a hold of, but turned out pretty good. That piston, I like to take like 400 grit and go around the piston. That's just me, a new one. I think it helps give the oil something to hang on to, I guess. If that makes sense. They've got their machining marks from the factory anyway, but mainly just knock down sharp edges, cut the pop up in and polish the crown of it back up nice. I like to take a bevel around the edge, not anything overdone or dramatic, but yeah, that's about all the work we've got. Next thing I guess I'll show you is the muffler that we're going to use. I think that'll talk. I think that'll get the heat out, guys. Alrighty guys, I've been trying to wrap this video up for a couple of days. I've worked on this thing off and on for the better part of a week now. It is strong. Probably the strongest big bore one of these I've put together. 2171, 372. Right now I was forced to put a 20 on it. It's an old Archer bar I've had for a long time. I think that's a loop of the Duke's chain that I've reground. I've got so many chains here, I don't know. But anyway, it's cutting pretty good, pulls through hickory. That 20 on it, and I cut up about I don't know, it's about a 13-14 inch piece of hickory. It's 4-stroking in the cut, but I have it tuned kind of rich as well where it's a new build. But started out with my hulls 4x28 on it, and kind of sad because I don't really have many large Husky mount bars here. I have short ones, but I had it sunk in a big piece of hickory, probably 30 inches. She blew the tip apart, but I'm telling you, this thing was pulling like a train with a really aggressive chain on it, and was cutting pretty damn fast at that. Right now I'm running out of wood to test cut on. I've got a piece of hickory, probably ain't that big, probably 10 inches. We'll make a few cuts in it, and I'll see if I can find something else on the ground to set it in. But I think I'm in the market for like a newer Husky lightweight 24-inch bar. Right now I've got my Samira 24-inch. It's a steel mount. I've got it on my 390 XP with an adapter. You have to kind of grind up the bar to do that, or if you loop your own chain, I guess you could add a link or two and get by without doing that. But right now we've got 18s and 20s in the Husky mount. It is what it is, but I'll quit running my jaw. As for now, this thing will be done. Had some trouble with the kill switch wiring last night. I got that straightened out. Yeah, she's just sounding pretty nasty, running pretty dang good, but we'll make some cuts for you guys and we'll wrap this up. Alright guys, it's time to wrap this up. I've drug it out long enough. Kind of sucks about my 28 blowing apart, but it is what it is. I never get anything cool like that on camera. I was just kind of filling it out, dialing it in. As you could tell in that video, it's still pig rich. Let's put a couple tanks on it, then we'll lean it out and see if we can bring home some softer wood and see how fast it is. But it'll be fast, I guarantee it, especially with that on it. But I'm gonna look into getting a lightweight, probably a Samira, or I'd like to have a Sujihara set up. I've never bought a Sujihara bar. I hear they're really nice. We'll look into getting something, but as for right now, that'll work just fine. We'll take it, we'll drop some trees with it, cut a little wood with it, put a few tanks on it, and then we'll turn the heat up on it. But cheap top end, I hope it lasts. Really cheap piston in it. When you make an order and you buy that stuff, you pay on the shipping end, but you can put a lot in one of them boxes. Really, just watch some of the unboxings I've done from Farmer Tech, but I have no worries about the plating on that cylinder. It's really hard. Their rings usually do really good, and I have had some pistons kind of flake away. I had a couple score, but you wouldn't have known it till you tore the saw down. But you know, it is what it is. Numbers on it, if I didn't mention it earlier, I've got some numbers I use on these, the big bore cylinders. I kind of like to keep to myself, but I did have to tweak them numbers just a little bit for that windowed piston and for the really long intake duration. Done no epoxy work to that intake. You seen it starts first pull, it drops back to idle quick, gets up on the pipe quick. Has 166 degrees of intake duration. So rule of thumb on one saw may not be rule of thumb on the next saw. Just keep that in mind. But anyway guys, it's been fun. I can't wait to get it in the woods. Thank y'all for watching. Everybody have a good one.